guys, this is Smithy. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is a very special one. This is a new to me indie brand that we're going to try today, and we're talking about Whatsup Beauty. Now you guys know how much I was oohing and eyeing when this palette was revealed, and this is the Dragon Eye palette. This is the carton that it comes with, and you should look at the art cover of the packaging because it's so beautiful. Look at the artwork and tell me if that's not pretty. I don't know what is. It's a beautiful dragon's face with that eye that keeps staring at you, and it's definitely like more raised packaging, but not too much that's like harder to store or anything like that. But it's very iridescent, very shifty, and wait till you see the inside. This is how the color story looks. It's a beautiful array of like greens and purples and mauves and a hint of like peaches thrown in here. It's a very beautiful. We're going to do live swatches because I have not dipped into this palette. I've definitely gotten this palette a few days ago, but I couldn't find the time. My mom was in town, and now she's here with us. So super excited about that. But yes, we're going to live swatch this baby. We're going to create like 2 eye looks using this palette. This palette is available on Whatsup Beauty. I purchased this myself, and this retails for $45. So I feel like this is a good decent amount of like price amongst indie palettes, but there is a size difference of the shades as well as the palette size. So this is Whatsup Beauty. Just for a reference, I'm going to show it against the Unearthly Cosmetics palette, and you can see it's definitely considerably small, and I'll show you the pan size too. So you can see the pan size difference. So it's definitely smaller, but I do not like mind a smaller palette if the price is kept small. So this is 10.3 grams with 0.36 ounces, and here we have a net weight of 23 grams. So 10 grams and 23 grams, so that's the difference. So you're definitely getting like more than double in this. Okay, so let's begin swatching because I cannot wait. Okay, so we're gonna let's do like this. We'll go like horizontal, vertically, and see. The first shade is called Fly. All these shades are super shifty. This is like, I can see green, pink, like a peachy shade, but definitely more like iridescent and sparkly and shifty. Very sparkly actually. So that's the first shade, Fly. So it has like a green to a peach flipping shade, but this can be like a good transforming shade for the palette because it goes like completely blank and transparent, but shifts really beautifully. Very pretty. Okay, the next shade is called Creature, which looks like a mid-tone shade. Actually, in front of me, it looks very similar to my skin tone shade. So let's see. But in the camera, I think I see a little bit more on the pinkier side. So let's see. So this is Creature. Yeah, it has like a little bit of rosiness to it, but swatched so smoothly. This is the first time I'm trying a Whatsup Beauty shadows, so I'm very excited for this. The Geodes palette also like captured my attention, but this, I was drooling when I saw this. The third shade is called Breath, and this is definitely like a baby pink shade, like a warmer pink shade, matte shade. So let's watch that. It also has a lot more like peachiness to it. I would say like it's more of like a peachy pink shade. Right there. The next shade is called Fierce, which looks like a golden green shade. Again, looks very sparkly. So let's watch that. I see like a baby blue shift to it too. Like a green to a blue flipping shade, but also with a lot of gold in it. So that's the shade Fierce. Next, we have the shade Fire, which it seems like a golden shade, but with like a pink and a brown base to it. Looks very stunning, like a spicy neutral shade. I actually see a lot of pink. Oh, but you see green? I see that shade. Look at the shift, so pretty. Very pretty. Okay, the next shade in the palette is called Scales, and this Scales shade definitely depicts the palette really well. It's like a tealy green to a purple shifting shade. Very smooth and very sparkly. I see purple and you see teal. Very pretty. Okay, the next shade is called Spikes, and this is more of like a lavendery, like a, what do I say? Like a muted purpley shade, like a purple gray, I would say. Again, that's the shade Spikes. Very pretty. So that is Spikes swatched for you guys. Next we have the shade Myth, which is like a gold to a pink. Again, very sparkly. Like these shades are so sparkly. Again, a spicy neutral shade. There you go. So that's the shade Myth. Very pretty. You actually see a lot of purple too. Very, very pretty. Okay, next we have the shade Magic, which is like a iridescent purpley blue shade. This one. Look wise, I felt like Magic is absolutely stunning. Oh wait, I see a lot of pink too. Ooh, very pretty. Like a pink to a blue. Again, this can be definitely like a transforming shade too, because of that, you know, lighter base to it. The next shade is called Smoke, which is the deepest shade of the palette. It's like a purpley brown shade. There you go. That's the shade Smoke. Two more shades left. Then we have Powerful, which is like a deeper purple shade, but again, it has like a muted quality to it. So let's watch that. There you go. That's Powerful. And last, certainly not the least, we have the shade Monster, which is like a purpley lavender shade. Oh my God, look at the sparkle. Stunning. Stunning. It has so many sparkles running throughout it. And that's the entire palette swatched for you guys. Really, really pretty. Nothing swatched funnily. It was very, very smooth and effective. Really pretty. Okay, now let's put this baby on our eyes and create two looks using this. Okay, let's start off with the shade Creature here. And I'm gonna run that all across my eyelid and see how that rolls. Oh, it definitely gives a pinky tint to it. Oh, that can be like an all over one and done shade for me. Oh, that's such a beautiful shade. Look at that. Ignore the eyeliner, you guys. I went outside. I didn't want to go with like two eye looks, so I went outside in the morning rushing. And actually I just ate my Thanksgiving lunch today. We celebrated Thanksgiving a little late here in my household just because my mom was coming and my brother was here to surprise her. I'm going to dip into this shade. So he came one day after Thanksgiving, and then we had like family plans and stuff like that. So we couldn't celebrate Thanksgiving when it was Thanksgiving, which I mean, you can celebrate Thanksgiving whenever you want. So for us, Thanksgiving was today. That's like 26th of November. Okay, now let's go into this shade, which is Smoke. I'm going to dip into Smoke and go in the outer corner and start packing that right there to give a little bit more of a depth. So this is a deeper shade, but it's not like, it's definitely a softer eggplanty brown shade. It's not like super deep, at least for me, I would say. And then I'm gonna go back into that Creature shade on the blending brush and just blend everything out. Or maybe because it's mixed with the matte. I don't know. I'm not very sure about it. Let's apply the shimmers and then we'll see if we want to apply and deepen it out a little bit more or not. I'm going to first start off by applying my NYX glitter glue. Okay, I'm going to take this shade Myth first. And I'm going to take that on the inner third of the eyelid. Just to tie in with that pink. It's picking out with a brush, but I'm very sure that if you apply it with your fingers, it's going to be much more impactful. So next I'm going to take the shade Scales because we have to use that shade. And I'm going to take that right in the center of the eyelid. Look how impactful that is. And I can see the shift so nicely. And I'm going to go back into that Myth shade that we used first. I'm going to take my finger and melt it into that Scales shade. 10 times more impactful with the finger. Going back into that Smoke shade again, the deeper purpley brown shade. And patting that on the outer corners just to deepen everything out. And I'm going to go back into that Breath shade, the pink shade, and just intensifying the crease shade and melting it out. Okay, I'm going to take that Creature shade first and I'm going to do the same thing on the lower lash line. Just blending it out, then taking that Breath shade, the pink, and taking it in the inner third, and then taking the shade Smoke and putting in the outer third. Now I'm going to take this shade, which is Fly, and I'm going to take that in my inner corners. And I'm going to wrap it around my lower lash line just a tad bit. That's a beautiful shade. I'm going to finish off this eye with some liner and mascara and I'll get right back. And that's my first eye look. Very easy, very beautiful, like very sparkly and effective, I would say. Let's move on to the second eye because you know how much I'm dying to use the purples. So let's do that. I'm going to first start off with the shade Spikes and then we'll deepen it out with this shade, which is Powerful. So let's take Spikes all across the lid. Actually crease. Now once we have that spikes all across the crease, I'm going to take the same shade on the lower lash line too. I'm going to take this shade Creature because it's more closer to my skin tone shade and it's going to be a beautiful blending shade for me. So just blending the edges with that shade. Just like that. Let's take that shade Powerful, which is that purpley shade, and I'm going to take that on the inner corner and the outer corner of the eye. Yeah, this definitely gives me the depth that I'm looking for. I don't know what happened with the other Smoke shade. That was definitely not giving me as much as depth that I wanted. So I'm patting it right there in the inner and the outer corner. And I'm also going to take the same shade on the lower lash line. Taking the same blending brush with no additional product, just blending over the edges. Now taking the NYX glitter glue right in the center of the eye. Let's take the shade Fire. And I'm going to take that. Did we use the shade Fire? No. Okay. Let's take the shade Fire in the inner and the outer lid portion. I'm just gonna melt it together. I love the contrast of like a green and a purple together. And this is definitely like a green with a pink flip, and melt it with that purple shade. I'm leaving the center blank for a reason. Going back into that Powerful shade, the purple. I'm just melting the edges. going to take the shade Magic right in the center of the eyelid and melting it with that green. Oh, that's a beautiful, beautiful flip. Going back into that fire shade. Just melting it with the fingers. I also want to use one more shade. So let's take the shade Monster, the purpley shade here. This one. And I'm going to take that in the inner corner of the eye. Just to tie in the purple. And just for a little more brightness, I'm going to dip into that Fly shade. And right on top. Just like that, okay? Now I'm going to finish off this eye with some liner and mascara and I'll get right back. And that's my second eye look. Oh, I really love the combination of those shimmers too. I still feel like I love this eye a little bit more, except the deeper brown shade. I feel like that's the only shade that gave me a little bit of, not trouble, but it didn't live up to my expectations. I think the only shade that I did not use today was the shade Fierce, this green shade, but otherwise everything else was used today. And yeah, I don't have any problems with this palette. I really feel like this is going to be a beautiful, like an elevated neutral palette for neutral lovers, especially if you are like more into neutral and you want to like dip into colors. I feel like this is a beautiful palette. I felt like this could have had a little bit more of a depth with this shade, just to deepen out any look. I feel like that's the deepest that you can go. Like this purple gives you the deepest shade, at least on me, I would say. But otherwise, I feel like the shades are very sparkly, very shifty. So it definitely gives the dimension, and I feel like more elegant looks would be more beautiful out of this palette. Like just go with like one or two mattes and like one shimmer on the entire eyelid. And because it's so sparkly, it's going to be very dimensional. And you can see like in the swatches itself, like how beautiful it looks. You guys let me know, like out of these two eye looks, which one was your favorite? Are you more into look 1 or look 2? I love halo eyes, but I felt like this has so much more dimension that I love it. I love it really well. But I love the shimmer shade here too. I'm confused, but this is stunning. So I definitely give it 2 thumbs up, and I'm very excited to see what's in future for Whatsup Beauty for us. I am very excited to see that. But that's all for today, guys. If you did like this video, you know what to do. Do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And ring the notification bell so that you're notified every time that I post next. I generally upload 3 videos every single week, every Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 9 AM Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.